Hi, I'm Jana Barnes, and I'm going to talk today about root cause analysis. Root cause analysis, or RCA, is a process of investigating and categorizing symptoms in order to find the root cause of events. So we can think of it like when we go to the doctor and we are hurting, we have some pain. Do we want the doctor to throw on a band-aid or give us medication and heal the symptom? Not heal the symptom, it's not healing, it's covering up the symptom. Or do we want them to try and find the root cause of the problem? One thing they could do is like an MRI or an X-ray or muscle test or things like that in order to find the root cause. Also, like they've done, let's say that there's a segment of kids they've done studies on where these kids, there's a little segment in school where these kids are doing bad in their tests and they can't figure out why. So they do some analysis and they find out that it's the kids' last period of the day that they're doing bad in their test grades. And they do some further research and investigation and they find that the kids can't focus. And then they find some more, they study some more and ask more questions and they find out that the kids are hungry. And so they found now the root cause of the poor test grades of this segment of students. One of the best analogies that we use for root cause analysis is that of an onion. So the outer layers of the onion are like the symptoms or other causal factors. And we want to peel those back until we can get to the core or the main problem, or the root cause, that is. So there's a lot of different ways of going about finding the root cause of problems that we find or factors that we find in our work. And I've kind of put together a list of what I think is one of the best ways of going about finding the root cause. Okay, so number one, we want to identify the problem. That's pretty simple. We just write it out, spell it out, have someone tell us, whatever. Find the root, the problem. And then we want to gather data and evidence. So we want to do this, there's a couple different ways. We can classify it along a timeline. In fact, that's highly recommended because you can see cause and effect along a timeline. You can use hierarchical clustering models or charts. So you can chart evidence and things you've found as you've studied this. You can look for communication problems, and then it's almost always mentioned that we should utilize the 5 whys when we gather data and evidence. So then we want to distinguish between the root causes and the causal factors. So we're going to classify between the two categories, and we can identify the root causes because they're generally the factors that if they're taken out of a timeline or taken out of a system, then we can see the difference. Well, let's just compare that to maybe a disruptive student in the class. We could probably find a root cause, take out a disruptive student, and voila, the class is a lot better. There are other factors though. Why is that student disruptive? So there are many root factors at times, and that leads us to the fourth one, is identify all other root factors. So there's going to be others, or there can be others, and keep an open mind that there might be other factors out there, and don't just settle on one. That's the biggest advice I see out there. And then there are further steps. I don't know if they go along with analysis. I think they might go into the next steps, but I just don't know enough about analysis to know. They are including identifying corrective actions and solutions, which you can start thinking of some already as you're doing the analysis. So here's a story about my life. My husband came home one day and he's like, hey, our water bill in the month of November, this chart says a different day, but the month of November is huge. It's like way up, skyrocketed out of the roof over all the years that we've lived here. Why is it so high? I'm like, well, we gotta have a leak somewhere. Boy, I hope it's not the main to the house. And so what we wanted to do is find the root cause of our water leak. And we wanted to utilize every option we had before we went to going to pay for a plumber. We've hired enough plumbers to know that we could go out to the meter and check the meter and see if it's running. So the first thing we wanted to do was go through all of our faucets in the house and make sure they're all turned off. Turned off the washing machine and everything, and then we went outside to the meter and popped that baby open. It's always a pleasant surprise to do that. And there's the meter. So right here you'll see this little thing turning, and sometimes this number right here will move. Someone who speaks better plumbing language will know those words. But the meter will be running, and we can see it running if there's water running. So we turned off all the faucets in the house, made sure all the water was not moving inside the house. And we came back outside and the meter was still going. So my first thought was, well, maybe it's the pool. We've had to fix this leak, this autofill valve, before it's leaked, and so we've cut out from the pool area in order to fix that water leak. And so we thought, well, let's go check that. And go into the pool room, we make sure that's off, and then we go back up to the valve and it's still moving. I mean, it's moving a lot, not just a little bit. So we decided, well, maybe let's make sure it's our sprinklers, and we'll go turn off our sprinklers around the house. We turned off the sprinklers, and then we went back out to the valve, and it had stopped moving. So we found the root cause as we walked around the house and found that we had water garden growing here in St. George. I don't know if you can see the water, it's just leaking like crazy, going down the hill behind our house. So therefore we've identified the root cause by going through the different symptoms and processes in order to find it. And that's the closest evidence I could find in my family at this time of how to find root cause, how to do analysis on root causes. So that's the end, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we can use this information in finding the root cause. They say one of the problems is if you don't find the root cause, we might be guilty of just throwing on a Band-Aid to a solution to something that you really need to dig a little deeper in order to find the answer to the problem, and then maybe find a solution, but not until we've found the root cause of the problem. So I hope you enjoyed it.